Have you ever stood in your house, maybe at 2 a.m., when everything around you is eerily quiet after everything has fallen apart, and asked yourself, should I leave and start over, or should I try to keep this place for my children? It's not just a question of bricks and mortar and finances, it's a question of memory, of stability, of the future, and of what you mean by home after family has taken on a different meaning. Millions of divorced people face this crossroads. On one side is the familiar past, the security, albeit false, that these four walls provide. On the other side is the uncertain future, but the promise of a blank page. Keep or sell. This is not a financial decision. It's a life decision. Most people make the wrong choice, not because they're not smart, but because they let their emotions override their judgment at the most crucial moment. In this video, we'll dissect this decision, not with tears, but with the logic of someone who's been there and the experience of a financial expert, so you can make a choice that will make you smile in 10 years, not regret it. When a marriage ends, the house is the biggest asset, and also the biggest emotional burden. It symbolizes all that has been built and all that has been lost. The decision to keep or sell is often divided into two extremes. One is, I must keep it at all costs for my children. The other is, I want to sell it immediately, so I will never have to see it again. Both of these hasty decisions are dangerous. Let me analyze these two cases more closely. Scenario 1. The keep it decision. The stability trap. The most common reason for keeping a home is for the kids. We're afraid of upsetting their lives. We want them to go to the same school, play with the same friends, sleep in the same room. We tell ourselves that it's worth sacrificing our finances for the stability of our kids. But what does stability really mean? Here, I have a practical example for you about my client. Ms. Lan's story is keeping the house and becoming a slave to the house. Ms. Lan, a 38-year-old accountant, has two young children, 6 and 8 years old. When she divorced, she fought at all costs to keep the 3-story townhouse. Her husband, after much arguing, agreed to receive a smaller cash payment so that she could have full ownership of the house. She had to borrow more from her family to make up the difference for him. She thought she had won. The first 2 years, everything seemed fine, but the financial burden quickly came. The bank loan to buy back her husband's share, plus the maintenance costs, land tax and utility bills that they had previously shared, now she had to take care of alone. She started cutting back on all other expenses, no travel, no shopping, and when her children wanted to learn more skills, she had to think twice. The stability that she wanted for the four walls, the children, were exchanged for a mother who was always grumpy, tired, and stressed about money. The climax was when the roof leaked and she didn't have enough $10,000 to fix it right away. She realized that she had kept a shell, but the piece inside it was gone. She was house poor. Poor because she owned a house that was too big for one's financial capacity. The lesson that everyone can see is that real stability for children is not a fixed address. Stability is a mother or father who is financially secure and mentally peaceful. If keeping the house makes you financially exhausted, it will poison the atmosphere of your remaining family. Don't keep a symbol if it destroys your reality. Scenario 2. Decide to sell. The pain of a new beginning. On the other hand, many people choose to sell immediately. They want to cut off the past. They cannot bear to live among memories. They want the money to be divided fairly, money for rice. Each go their separate ways. This is a very rational choice, but also full of pain. The story of John, who is also my close brother John, and his wife decided to sell their luxury villa right after signing the divorce papers. The market was stagnant at that time. They accepted to sell at a small loss to quickly free each other. The money was divided in half. John moved to a smaller service department near the company. The first 6 months were hell. He felt a terrible loss. Not losing his wife, but losing his home. He lost his morning habit of making coffee in the familiar kitchen corner, losing the view overlooking the city that he loved. He felt rootless, aimless. The children also felt lost when they no longer had their parents' house to return to, but only their father's house and their mother's house. But what happened next? After the initial shock, John realized one thing. The money from selling the house after dividing it in half was large enough for him to have a safe reserve. He no longer had to work hard to pay off the high-end apartment. His financial pressure was reduced by half. He started spending time for himself, going to the gym, learning a new language. He realized that the financial freedom that selling the house brought him had given him the opportunity to truly rebuild his life. A year later, he used that money as counterpart capital, buying a small, pretty two-bedroom apartment, just enough for him and his children when they came to visit. It was his, 100% his, no longer tied to the past. He shared with me that selling a house is a painful act of cutting, but it is a clean break. It frees you from the common financial burden and emotional ties. The initial pain is real, but the freedom it brings is the foundation for a new, more sustainable future. The new house, even if smaller, but if it brings peace, then it is truly home. Through the above two stories, we can see a painful truth. A house cannot keep a family, and selling it cannot erase memories. This is something many people understand after divorce. A house cannot keep anyone. If love, attachment, and trust are gone, then no matter how much you try to keep the house, it will just be an empty frame. And conversely, when you sell a house, you do not sell memories. They are in your heart and they follow you, no matter where you are. You can sit in a small, simple apartment, but when you listen to an old song, when you cook a familiar dish, when you smell the scent of autumn, the memories still come back, softer, less painful. There is no wall strong enough to keep the person who has left. And there is no distance far enough to erase all memories. The only thing you can do is choose where you want to start over. Ask yourself, do I need a roof or do I need a beginning? There are nights when you look out the window and see the lights of your neighbour's house. Inside, laughter, children running, you feel your heart sink, wondering, when will I feel that again? But then you know happiness is not about the size of the house, but the feeling that you can breathe deeply in it, no longer feeling trapped. Try sitting down and writing 2 lists. On one side are the reasons you want to keep the house. On the other side are the reasons you want to sell. Then cross out the reasons related to X, memories, fear of change. Keep only the ones related to you and your future. If the remaining list leans towards keeping the house, keep it. If it leans towards selling, be strong and do it. No one has the right to judge, because in the end, this is your story. Freedom doesn't come from being right, it comes from daring to choose. A woman in Texas once told me, I lost my house, my husband, and most of my savings, but now I have a small apartment which I decorated myself, and I have never felt like I really have a home like this. She laughed and said, before I had a house, but I didn't have peace. Now I have peace, even if it's just a small room. That quote stuck with me, because in the end, home isn't about the address, it's about the feeling you get when you walk in. Life after divorce is not easy. But sometimes, just when you think you're losing everything, you're getting yourself back. Maybe you sell your house, move away from the familiar place and start over in another city. Maybe you keep the house, fix it up, add flowers, change the colour of the walls to make it my house instead of our house. Whatever it is, the important thing is you made a choice. You're standing at a crossroads and don't know which one to choose. Please comment so we can discuss and answer. Every brave choice brings with it a ray of light. And when you look back, you will see no decision is a complete loss. Only steps and growth. If you find the video interesting, please support us by subscribing to the channel to continue developing such content.